Hello, everybody. My name is Mr. Cantor, and welcome to Teaching with Mr. Cantor. Now, what we're going to do is look at the lesson titled Constructing the Coordinate Plane 2 using Desmos. So what we're going to do is look at this implementation guidance for the lesson, and we're going to click on the link as follows. Now, you're going to notice that on this web page, you'll see that my name is here in the right corner. You need to sign in with your own Gmail account and register with this website. It is free. Once you register with this website, you can create your own classes. As you can see, I've created a class here. You will notice that to the left of this class name, there's a little picture here. This picture might look familiar to you. That is because that picture is the Google Classroom picture. You can directly connect your Google Classroom to this web page and get all your student rosters onto here. So now once we're here, you can actually assign this to any of your classes. I've assigned it to 601A Math, and you can do that to all your classes as follows. You can manage your classes, change classes, delete the assignment, edit it as follows. Now what we can do is we can notice there's a student preview here. You can see what all the different screens are going to look like, and you can actually click on them and run through them yourself. So for example, I can look at this screen. It tells us to click on the point, and then we can drag the point around. You will notice that as you drag the point around, the value of the point changes, which is really cool because it's going to help your students get an idea of how each quadrant changes the coordinates. This one says, oh no points. You have to make your own. Make sure to use parentheses. So in this box over here, it tells you type 5,3 into the next line to create a point. Okay, so we click here. We're going to click 5,3, no spaces. And we're going to click label. And that actually puts the point next to it. All right. I could probably make another point here. I could call this one 2,4. We could press label. And now this program will actually plot the points for you. So now you have a chance to make up whatever points you want. Maybe I'll do 100, 100. And then this program will plot it for us. You'll notice that that point is actually not on the screen. So you can click the minus button and zoom out. And then we can see that our point is actually on the screen. So this program will actually help the students create their own points, plot them anywhere, and they can see what happens as the X numbers change, as the Y numbers change. They can count by whatever they want. They can get as creative as they want, and they can essentially plot points on the grid. You can even make an activity where students have to plot points, and then this will give them some kind of a shape or some kind of a drawing, and then students will see it. And then you can ask them, well, what is the picture? So you give them a list of points they have to do. Once the points are there, they'll see some kind of image. And that could be really fun for your students. Okay, and now you're going to notice that some of these screens are going to actually ask students questions. So why don't we head over to the student version and see what does that look like? So on the student view, once they log into the Google Classroom, they're going to notice there's a new assignment. Once they click on this, see the instructions, they're going to see what they have to click on. Once they click on it, they'll be right in here, and it says continue the activity, and here we go. So now we're looking at it from the student's point of view. So the student will do the same exact stuff that we just did, where they could play around moving the point, they can move on, they can move the point only on the x-axis, they can get to here where they get to put their answer in. Once they type their answer in and press submit, it's going to tell them that until 3 other students respond, they're not going to get to share it. So they're waiting to see. They want to give some students the time to submit their answers. Then they'll be able to see what other students have submitted. Then, they go to the next activity. This activity requires them to move the point up and down on the y-axis. And so they get to see how these points change, which is really good because they're seeing what happens to the coordinates as you move strictly on the y-axis. All right. Then there's another question for them, which states what is the name of the axis going up and down. They can write y-axis, and then they have to wait until 3 other students send a response, and then they'll be able to see what other students have submitted. Here's another question for them where it says, look at the point in the picture. What is the x coordinate? So they'll see that the x coordinate is 3. They could type it in. Now, what happens if you want to see what your students are doing? Well, as a teacher, let me just X out of here. As a teacher, when you're on the main page and your students are working while you are monitoring this, you can actually head over to activity history. You can click on this one, and then it's going to bring you to a page where you get to see all of the slides Here they call it screens, and you can see exactly what your students are doing. It actually also shows you exactly where your student is currently. So right now, my student is on the 7th slide right here. That's the one that we were looking at together. You'll also be able to see what answers the students have submitted. So if you want to pull them into breakout rooms and talk to them about the answers they submitted, you can. You could also group them with students in the breakout rooms to go over some of the questions they submitted. And again, you can see the work that they've turned in. When we go to a page that they have not sent a response in yet, it's going to be blank. Okay, so let's actually go back to the student version and see what happens when they fill this in. So here we are. It says, look at the point in the picture. What is the y coordinate? So the y coordinate is -2. I'm going to press submit as a student. And now let's head back over to the teacher side. And you will see that on the teacher side, it actually tells us what the student put as their answer. All right. And now remember, the student is currently on screen 7. Once the student moves to the next screen, they're now on screen 8. We'll also be able to see now that they have moved over to screen 8 as well. So this is going to monitor the progress of all of your students. You're going to see them move one by one to different locations. And if they need help with anything, you'll be able to click on the specific slide and see exactly what's going on that slide. All right. So there's a lot of cool activities here. We can keep going together and look through them. They have targets where students get to do target practice. This is a lot harder than it looks. Students have to write a coordinate over here on the side and hope that they get into the bullseye of their choice. You can actually build different activities around this where you ask them to make 2 points land in different regions or 1 point land in different regions, and they have to find the coordinates of those points. So you can have a lot of fun with this, but we can do one together. And essentially, let's say we want to hit the yellow zone. The yellow zone looks like it's 4,2. Let's try that, 4,2. And there you have it. We can even label our point and we can see we hit the bullseye. This one wasn't so hard. However, we do have some that are not so easy. Now, this one's going up a little higher. You're going to have to start to use decimals. This one is down in the negative zone. This one is kind of intersecting all the quadrants. And so students have to get very creative. This one is over here. And depending on where the target zone is placed, there's going to be, a little bit of tricky stuff going on. And this one is interesting because it's a smiley face, but it has no eyes. So they have to plant the points to make the eyes. All right. So there's a lot of fun activities here where students get a chance to play around with the coordinate grids. You get to monitor them as they go through it. And this is something that you can use while teaching your class directly, or you can do this asynchronously and give your students an opportunity to really work on their coordinate grid skills. All right. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Mr. Cantor. I'll see you in the next one.